Did you know the Grammys were last night? Chances are you're like everybody else, and no, you had no idea. And if it wasn't for some clips that ended up going viral, which we'll talk about very shortly, chances are you would be just as uninformed about this laughingstock as everybody else. Might as well keep it that way, because there's nothing really to be gained from the Grammys. The Grammys have been irrelevant for the longest time. I remember back when they were getting mocked at for giving Best Metal Record of the Year to Jethro Tull over a year that Metallica was actually still creating music, and that was way back in the cut. Or even as a Simpsons gag, back when The Simpsons was good. This is how long the Grammys have been irrelevant. What was that, season 4, when Homer was in the barbershop quartet, and then they joked about getting the Grammy and throwing it in the trash. The Grammys have sucked for a long time, so for there to be any sort of revival off the back of some, well, pretty degenerate stuff, it really doesn't shock me, because they need to do this in order to attract any sort of eyeballs. But even beforehand, and I don't necessarily know when the segment in question was, apparently, hey man, they have the best ratings since 2020. Is that any sort of bragging to be doing? Like, ratings in general, they were kind of in the tank from 2020 moving forward. And what was the trajectory before that? Like, were the Grammys completely going down? And it's like, oh, okay, cool. They continue to go down, but then they peaked up a little bit for 2023, or did they even host them in 22, 21? It's like, okay, Bad Bunny was there. That's what they tell me. I have no idea. I don't know any of these people who are there. Do you even know who's up for Record of the Year, Performer of the Year, or whatever their categories are? Chances are, no. Like, as far as I know, Sabaton wasn't up for an award. I know Judas Priest didn't put out a record, Accept didn't. Okay, so I realistically don't care at all whatsoever. If they want to trot out some old folks onto the stage in order to spike a rating for the boomers that are left watching network television, okay, wonderful, fantastic. But putting Bad Bunny up there with the Congo drums, and I know he's popular in Latin communities, but yo, who cares? Nobody would care. It would just come and go and eventually be canceled because of just sheer apathy. But we'll see if it's going to do better than the Oscars, which aren't the Oscars coming up this month? Anyways, another thing that I don't care, unless there's something stupid like Will Smith. Oh, he's not allowed to be there, so somebody else will have to come up on stage and bitch slap somebody in order to get some ratings. I don't know, maybe, you know, put on a compelling show and people would be more than willing to watch, but whatever. The 2023 Grammys nabbed more than 12.4 million viewers. That's not that bad, because what did the Oscars get last year? 8.9 million? Like, it fell through the floor, so I guess the Grammys are still hanging on, I guess. Like one of the many garter straps for Lizzo, barely hanging on. A 30% increase over last year's ceremony. Oh, so it's just basically maintaining the same level of barely breaking 8 figures. That's nice. 30%, yes, 30% increase, and the largest audience since 2020. Oh, okay. The show, the most watched program of the night. I would imagine so. What else was competition? The Pro Bowl was earlier in the day, but that was legitimately flag football, guys. Like, what is the NFL doing? Oh, it's just such an embarrassment. Anyways, also reached the largest live stream audience in history on Paramount Plus, which is a rebranding of CBS's old streaming platform, which is about to get rebranded once again. So whatever that means, bro. A 33% increase from 2022. That's nice. And then, yeah, you had everybody who showed up. Oh, okay, so you got Beyonce, the strong, independent feminist who stayed with her husband who cheated on her because, oh, I can replace you in a minute. Oh, I can go and get you one whenever. I can get somebody just like you at the drop of a hat, but you stuck by Jay-Z. Yeah, you continue to shell your feminism. Meanwhile, you're not adhering to your own standards. You got Harry Styles, right? In not the unitard that he was walking the red carpet in that just kind of looked like he was fresh off the set of a P.T. Barnum set. Hey man, whatever. And then Taylor Swift, right? Looking actually pretty decent. And then you got Adele, who, if it wasn't for the next cast of characters, would probably have the worst picture of the night, because yeah, no, she looks fantastic and wonderful and amazing after she lost all of that weight, because before, yeah, she was just that pudgy white girl who could definitely hit a few low notes. But now, hey man, she's actually looking pretty good. That picture's not really doing her any favors. She gets to go home with the best pop solo solo performance. Who cares, man? Oh, the ceremony was hosted by Trevor Noah, and it got good ratings? Wow. Holy, you keep doing stuff like that, and then people might be convinced that actually Trevor Noah's a ratings draw. Oh, but he did it for the 3rd year in a row, so I guess the old saying in Hollywood, you just continue to fail upwards. But yeah, it featured performances from artists including Styles, Petra and Smith. I have no idea what that is. Lizzo, I unfortunately know what that is, and Bad Bunny, among others. And who else showed up to that? Well, Madonna did. Well, or at least what you could describe as Madonna, because oh, that looks like a ram who's been on the wrong side of multiple confrontations in her life. Like, what's happened to Madonna? You can see in the background there, okay? They got different pictures from throughout her career, and I don't remember her when she first broke onto the scene. I wasn't even born then. Aha, she's old. I remember, what, 20 years in the business when she was doing the theme song for Austin Powers. The second one? I think the second one. But she's always been, at least perceived royalty. But now, over the past couple of years, she's just been a 60-plus-year-old laughingstock. It's really, it's not sad. She deserves every second of the mocking. But look at that. Yo, she looks like if Mickey Rourke was cast to play Princess Leia in the new Disney remake of the Star Wars original trilogy. Holy man, that's just, what is going on? And I know that she's got the grill because she's dating a black kid, but what the, she don't look real. And it's just the aesthetics in the background, the red lighting, the riding crop, the suit jacket, and it's, I don't know, maybe Kanye West was supposed to be, I think he was booked to host a segment, but then he had to get dropped, but they still liked the aesthetic and it needed to lead into something afterwards, because she got up there and rambled through something or whatever, and she was presenting the next performer that was going to be on stage, and that is Sam Smith, who I have no idea who this guy is. All I know is he got some attention for releasing a Thalashieth music video not that long ago where I think, yeah, non-binary pop star. Yeah, whatever, man. Yo, that dude, he had his titties out with the little, spinny tassels on, and it's just trash music. I listened to a second of it, and it's like, I could do without that, okay? But if some people like it, that's fine. There's a lot of trash music that's out there. Chances are, I like less of the music. I like less than half of the music that is out there. Country music, outside of very, very few performers, could all just fall off a cliff tomorrow. Wouldn't miss it whatsoever. Most of the pop music, outside of Michael Jackson, yeah, can pretty much, hit the skids. I'm metal, rock, and synthwave. That's about it, man. So this isn't exactly my cup of tea, but given the fact that my background when it comes to listening to music is a little bit on the more traditionally outcast side of things, I take a look at this and the way that the right is spurging out about this one performance, which is, just kind of run-of-the-mill if you take a look at it, and all things considered, it's like, bro, you're just playing right into their hands. You know exactly what they're doing. They're just doing this to stoke some kind of outrage in order to get interaction, just because, look at the way that they frame this. Okay, non-binary pop star Sam Smith performs BDSM devil-themed Unholy at the Grammys. Okay, yeah, his song's called what? Unholy something or other? Yeah, his song Unholy. Okay, he had a devil hat on, a bunch of red aesthetics, dark fire. Okay, you got chicks, shaking ass, popping pussy up on stage. It's like, alright, bet. I thought we were already through this and we've already exercised all of those problems with it back in the days of Alice Cooper, Motley Crue, hell, even one of my favorite songs that just came out within the past couple of years, Powerwolf's The Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend. If the right peep that music video of a bunch of nuns being corrupted, I want to do a breakdown of that, but it's just about impossible to get through with, stupid copyright and all that stuff. Might do that over on Rumble after we hit a certain milestone or something like that. But it is one of the most based and red-pilled songs that I've heard in a very long time, and I'll break it down at a later date. But yeah, it has demon iconography inside of a Gothic cathedral, which is being presented as a church. So is that being unholy? Still a banger song. I don't think shit about, Sam Smith's stuff that's up there. But if they just would have mocked it as just being trash music, that would have been one thing. But them trying to take the whole holier than thou, high and mighty route. And it's like, we already went through this in the early 90s with the moral majority, the Catholic conservatives. That's what made the right look so pathetic, even though it was just listen, old Blackie Lawless with WASP, okay? It was the PMRC, Tipper Gore's organization. It was actually looking to regulate it, and the rest of the Christian conservative right, they just wanted to push everything later in the evening. All they wanted to do with South Park, and it's like, oh, don't put it on when the kids are awake, just put it on later in the evening. They weren't calling for any cancellations, whereas the left, the real authoritarians, wanted to label and ban everything. ESRB came from the exact same area, and if it wasn't for Mortal Kombat ripping spines and skulls out of people, and Night Trap, it was a simpler time. But anyways, I'll get this, monstrosity off the screen. Not me, I'm beautiful. Anyways, pop star Sam Smith, who describes himself as non-binary, okay, performed a BDSM devil-themed rendition of his song Unholy. Oh my gosh. At the Grammys on Sunday night, complete with her red leather suits, flames, and cartoonish devil horns. Oh my god. Bro, it's music. It used to be counterculture. It's just normally whenever you have this aesthetic, it normally comes with a wailin' bitchin' guitar solo. But we aren't so lucky anymore. Leading up to Sunday's performance, Smith promised that it would likely anger Christians. See, that's exactly what he was out to do. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Heathen, whatever. He's going to hell anyway, so why do we even bother pushing against us? And cause protests at CBS for what's described as satanic imagery. I think everybody's just kind of over it because I don't see it trending anymore. It was just kind of one of those, late Sunday things, but I think people have better things to do than care what Sam Smith is doing. As it turns out, the imagery was just a few items of clothing removed from a Looney Tunes episode. Oh, yo. I can't play all of it, mostly because it's just all being taken down, but we can scroll through it a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean here. As Showbiz 411 reported, sources said that the performance would make a lot of people very upset. I guarantee there will be calls to CBS from outraged Christians. They aren't watching it, but if that's your expressed purpose in doing this, like back in the 80s when Priest was being sued for concealed messaging in stained class, they weren't aiming to infuriate anybody. They just had good music and it was selling, and it was the style at the time, and they were putting it out there. Smith's source said the singer would playing Satan. That's not grammatically correct, but okay. And that there would be a lot of devil type stuff, devil worship, and pyrotechnics like you've never seen. Well, let's just go and peek it a little bit, because like I said, I can't play it or anything like that because it'll just get blocked. It's from TNT. But as you can see, okay, girls in cages. Yeah, Motley Crue did it 40 years ago and they did it better than that. And but to be fair, Sam Smith can probably carry a tune a little bit better than Vince Neil now. So it's whatever, man. Again, it's a stage show. You're putting on a show allegedly for the Grammys that 12 point some odd million people ended up watching at some point in time. And it's like, okay, you got fire on stage. Cool. Kiss wants their cut. It's fusing pop music and the devil and unholy type imagery. It's nothing new. It's nothing special or anything like that. And having girls on stage, hey, if they're actually all biological women, that would be something new. And then having a guy in the center of it, theoretically, even though he says he's non-binary. There we go. Oh, that shit is so ridiculous. But no, having girls lust after a guy, wow, it's about time. And it's, just kind of a departure from the normal crap that's out there. But I think it's a little bit more nefarious than what, this brainlet who will be here today and gone tomorrow wants to put out there. Well, it's going to enrage the Christians. Bro, you know exactly what you're doing. You're just trying to stoke engagement when it comes to this dead and dying genre. The awards show, well, might be up this time around because people might recognize some of the performers, okay, if they have their ear tuned to this type of stuff. But if not, it's going to be gone. It'll be out like a fart in the wind. See, what they referenced in the beginning, oh, it's up. It's the highest number that it had since 2020. But all of this stuff had been on a downward slope well before that. Oh yeah, this is just a little beep before, the heart rate monitor completely flatlines. It's the aftershock after the entertainment industry just descends into the Pacific Ocean. Once California does hit the bottom. But the funniest part of this was after the performance, okay? So this was captured right after the performance, and we scrubbed through most of it, and I can just go ahead and run it back just a little bit. There you can see, yeah, they came from a wide shot after, yeah, you know, all the people dancing around, yeah, big wide shot, and then they just throw to, okay, we're going to go to a commercial break. Yeah, the Grammys after this quote-unquote demonic performance. The Grammys brought to you by the Jab Corporation. They don't want you to think for yourself. It's just a stupid, goofy music performance. And if the right wants to think that there's something nefarious behind it, you just go ahead and bang that drum by saying that video games are going to make kids violent, okay? You're just dying on a dead hill. But to stoke all this outrage requires compliant people. And then for anybody to be outraged requires a compliant opposition. But you know who benefits from all this stuff? Oh, by just saying, oh, look at the demonic left. Oh, and then the reactionary right over there. Oh my God, they're just coming together and then not focusing on the bigger picture. Where Pfizer's the one who's profiting off of this. CBS continues to churn out this rage bait. This is what happens. This is a dying business model. You know, when the music industry was popping in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, they didn't have to do any of this type of stuff. They just let the music do it. They didn't have to go do these over elaborate stage shows in order to stoke rage and engagement. And hell, it also didn't have to get sponsored by one of those mega corporations that the left used to hate oh so much. They become the things that they hate. And it's perfectly summarized by one other Simpsons reference. Punks before, fuck the world. Punks now. Voting is great. Love your government. Trust the system. Very much so. Very, very, very much so. Used to be the counterculture. Now, you're just the compliance culture. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.